Welcome to your Barbados Today Evening News Update from Monday, May 25. A proposal that can be considered as an alternative to job cuts in the public sector is now in the hands of the country's union leaders. Top government officials and union executives today held intense closed-door talks for more than 3 hours on the matter. Both sides are tight-lipped on the discussions, but President of the National Union of Public Workers briefly disclosed that the proposal, no longer dubbed forced savings, will be fully analyzed by the unions and its members over the next month.
The discussion was around a national meeting plan and no longer called for savings plan. Now, some information was shared with the union, and what we would like to do at this point is to meet with our individual committees so that we can share that information with them, and then we will have a broader discussion with the general membership and then eventually the public. They said that they would like us to conclude our meetings and our internal discussions by end of June.
Matt Dowell describes the talks as cordial.
The points that public servants would have wanted us to raise in the meeting, I believe that those points were made. Now it is up to us to take back all of the information to our members and see what they decide. And then we can always communicate that to the government and by extension the public. So I don't want to go into any specifics at this point. There were many things discussed. Once we have an opportunity to explain what those things were with our members, then we can have a wider discussion with the public.
Last evening, Prime Minister Mia Mottley assured public servants they would continue to receive their full salaries, saying she's not interested in cutting their wages. It's not a question of whether the Caribbean's tourism sector can survive the devastating impact of COVID-19. It frankly has no choice, says Dr. Peter Tarlow, the world-renowned tourism expert and scholar. Speaking on the 6th edition of the Caribbean Tourism Organization's COVID-19, The Unwanted Visitor, he expressed confidence that the Caribbean will bounce back, but he says it needs to develop a sound action plan and get moving.
I would like to see some form of Caribbean ministerial summit where the Caribbean ministers, prime ministers or presidents or governors, or depending upon, come together and say, okay, as a region, this is what we have, and these are areas that we can begin to create. How much unemployment are we giving the people who are not right now been laid off? Do we have a way of filling hotels so that they just don't go under? You know as well as I do that traditionally a hotel needs about 60% occupancy on an annual basis to be able to survive. Many of these hotels are at almost zero occupancy right now. So we have to come up with regional ways to keep those going. We have to be working with the airlines so that when airline traffic begins again, special prices are created so that people who are afraid to travel.
In today's COVID-19 update, one patient recovered today, even as the country recorded no new cases. This brings the total number of recoveries from the novel coronavirus to 71 and reduces the number of persons in isolation to 14. 56 tests were conducted by the Best Santos Public Health Laboratory yesterday, and today the lab has completed 4,788 tests. Barbados has recorded 92 confirmed cases of this infectious illness, and there have been 7 deaths. On this African Day, CARICOM Chairman Prime Minister Mia Mottley pressed home the need for the Caribbean to deepen its ties with Africa. She made the call in a feature address at the launch of the 2020 Pan-African Festival, commemorating Emancipation and Recognition of African Liberation Day in Trinidad and Tobago. She made it clear that while the COVID-19 pandemic may have forced the two sides to cancel the Caribbean and African Union Leaders Conference, there is no wavering on the need to build stronger ties.
This will in no way dampen our resolve to deepen the Caribbean community's relationship with Africa and to close ranks with the African Union in our battle for a more just and sustainable international social and economic order. Our people must start to trade. Our people must start to travel. Our people must bridge that Atlantic Ocean that separates us and to remove the centuries of history that have divided us.
She also disclosed that CARICOM member states are moving full steam ahead with plans to strengthen relations with African countries.
But several of our CARICOM member states are forging ahead with plans to establish embassies in a number of African nations, even if delayed by COVID-19. In addition, I can report that plans are still in train to take up the very gracious offer made by the government of the Republic of Kenya to provide the Caribbean community with rent-free diplomatic office facilities in Nairobi for an initial period of 2 years.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Barbados Today, news you can trust.
To regional news now, Guyana's incumbent APNU and AFC coalition maintained it's the winner of the March 2 general and regional elections, but it claims there was major electoral fraud that discredits the result. The party's campaign manager, Joseph Harmon, spoke on the matter today.
Our investigations have revealed that as at the 22nd day of May 2020, the electoral theft and scheme is unraveling, and 86,367 votes cannot be explained or accounted for. This directly goes to the credibility of these elections. These unaccounted votes are evidence of a fraudulent attempt to steal the elections, suppress the will of the majority of the Guyanese people who voted for the APNU AFC. We anticipate as the days go by, we will find more of these anomalies and we continue to highlight them. But make no mistake, the APNU AFC coalition has been and remains confident that we were successful at the polls. We, however, must stay focused on the validity of each vote, which gives credibility to the entire process.
On the international scene in the UK, retailers will soon be back in business. Today, Prime Minister Boris Johnson announced the current lockdown will ease next Monday.
It is our intention to allow outdoor markets to reopen from June the 1st, subject to all premises being made COVID secure, as well as car showrooms, which often had significant outdoor space and where it is generally easier to apply social distancing. We know that the transmission of the virus is lower outdoors and that it is easier to follow COVID-secure guidelines in open spaces. That means we can also allow outdoor markets to reopen in a safe way that does not risk causing a second wave of the virus. Then, from the 15th of June, we intend to allow all other non-essential retail, ranging from department stores to small independent shops, to reopen. Again, this change will be contingent upon progress against the 5 tests and will only be permitted for those retail premises which are COVID secure.
That's news, but for the very latest, visit our website at www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, or like us on Facebook, and sign up for our breaking news alerts via WhatsApp. We're also on Izumi Media and bus terminals, as well as screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. You can also hear us on Mix 96.9 FM and Capital Media HD 99.3 FM.